Guys, this is Lala Legacy, and welcome back to SeaBed. So, let's just jump right back in. I locked the kitchen and the windows. The office door opened as I was pulling down the blinds. Hello. I turned around to see Inukai with a bag in his hands. What happened? I forgot my keys. Good job. Inukai opened the top drawer of his desk, took out a bundle of keys from it, and then placed it in his pants pocket. Did you decide on the movie you want to watch? A movie? Inukai locked his drawer as he replied. Are you busy tomorrow? Not really. I see. Are you leaving? Inukai asked me a question as I was confirming the calendar. Yes. I was just about to right now. That's good. I'm glad you made it. I guess. Do you want me to turn off the lights? Inukai reached out to the light switch near the entrance. Thank you. I looked around the dark office but spotted no lights from any running machinery I might have missed. I picked up my bags and keys before continuing towards the main door. Have you seen Takako outside? Inukai furrowed his brows. Takako? I'm sorry, but I'm not sure I know who that is. What? Wait. But didn't they work together? How does he not know who she is? Okay, now I'm just confused. Ooh, booze. I took a different route home this time, deciding to enter a small and rather lonely-looking bar. The place first piqued my curiosity about 6 months ago, but I had since forgotten all about it. There was a simple rectangle-shaped liquor shelf behind the illuminated counter. The interior was dimly lit. I could barely make out the faces of people sitting just 2 seats away from me. Did I make you wait? I heard a voice from behind just as I finished ordering my highball. Sachi sat down next to me. Hello. Hey, this seems like a nice place. You come here a lot? No, it's actually my first time here. Is that a highball? I guess I'll try out the same. I nodded, and Nagasaki ordered the exact same drink I did. Do you drink a lot? Only at parties, or if I'm feeling really tired. A glass identical to mine was placed in front of Nagasaki. You're pretty early. Didn't you say you were busy lately? I cancelled one of our commissions. Ah, I see. It was something Takako was supposed to do. Was she the only one capable of doing it or something? Yes. Takako has been quite odd ever since we were kids, right? Yeah, she sure had plenty of energy to spare, I'll give her that. Yes. She possesses quite a unique kind of sensitivity. No, I guess that's putting it too nicely. You could say she's always looking at things from a different perspective compared to others. Well, she's pretty eccentric is what I'm trying to say. Eccentric? Nagasaki parroted me. I could tell there was something off about her back in elementary school during our first art class. You know how palettes have separate holes for primary colors? Well, she would first mix all of them together, and then use almost randomly derived set of colors from that mess. I would always use only the colors I needed. For example, if we had to color leaves, I'd choose green, yellow, orange, and perhaps some red to mix in with them. But before long, Takako would always be ahead of me. Our grades were pretty much the same, but the teacher would always pay more attention to her. On top of that, whenever we submitted our works for a competition, I'd always end up qualifying at best. While she kept winning prizes. There was a time I almost started hating her for that. Did her work look good from your perspective too? Well, I don't think I could really call her extraordinarily good, but her works always have something that catches your eye. Something? Yes. I didn't even realize that I'd already finished my glass. Narasaki's glass was empty as well. She ordered another cocktail. Do you know a lot about these kinds of drinks? Not really. I just remembered an elderly man who kept coming to our place. He'd always mention this one. The bartender put some ice in the glass and stirred it with the bar spoon, cooling it off. He then did away with the water that came from the melted ice and split some of the alcohol Narasaki ordered into a measuring cup. It was some sort of foreign liquor. Sorry, guys. I couldn't recognize from the label alone, but its gold hue reminded me of whiskey. He stirred it with the bar spoon again and picked up the soda next. After pouring most of it in one go, he carefully added the final few drops. The ice cubes jolted about in the drink as the bartender stirred it, sending bubbles floating to the surface. It looked almost like some sort of chemistry experiment. He then added a bit more of the alcohol to make the drink gain some color. As it took on a vivid golden hue, the bartender plugged the bottle with a confident air of perfection about him. And that made you insecure? Narasaki took her glass, continuing our conversation. Yes, I suppose so. I see. I ordered another drink myself. I think you don't need to worry about your work. I'm not an expert on arts and design or anything, but you should be fine. And why would you say that? Much like Takako had her own talents, you're also capable of things others can't imitate. Oh? And what would those be? I'm not sure how to put it, but I guess one could say you're able to comprehend things at their base level. Am I? Even supposing you're right, what use would a skill like that be? With enough effort, you could accomplish the same things as Takako. You think? After all, you're one tough gal. Few things in this world could faze you. With that, I can agree. I see. Narasaki chuckled. I think I'll try visiting your clinic this week. What day would be okay? Do you have any preferences? I ordered my third drink. I've got no appointments on Wednesday so far. Then I'll drop by sometime before lunch. Alright. After that, we discussed our past for a while. About the time we spent together at the kindergarten, and what we'd both done since we parted ways. Narasaki kept jotting down some things I've said. When I asked her about it, she said it contained hints for my diagnosis. I opened my eyes to see a sideway view of my room and a rectangle-shaped analog alarm clock. A white dog with lop ears was pointing at a few minutes before 7. I pushed the yellow button on the clock to stop the alarm from ringing. With my left eye still somewhat misty from being pushed against the pillow, I climbed out of bed and lifted the black uniform off the hanger. It sported a fairly dull design, with only its dark red scarf standing out. I'm leaving. With that, I opened the main door. As I stepped outside, I spotted Takako waving at me near the gate, still wearing her summer uniform. Morning! Morning. I walked down the stone steps to the gate. As I looked closer, I realized that the knot of Takako's scarf was slightly crooked to the right, and her bag, which should have contained the same book as mine, looked oddly thick and heavy. You're quite early today. The weather was so nice, it would have been a waste to sleep in. I see. Takako lined up next to me as I exited the gate and continued down the road. Well, they say that rising early benefits you 3 mon. How much yen is a mon? Takako looked at me. I don't know. I wonder how much it is. I read in a book that 4,000 mon is one row. If you rise early 1,334 times, it'll amount to 1 row. Oh, 1 row? That sounds rich! It does? my cat! As we passed the Rokuchi Park and reached the main road while chatting about late-night music programs on TV and the movies we'd seen recently, we could finally see the school building just beyond the railroad crossing. We have a class representative meeting today, so you can leave without me. I passed the tracks while telling that to Takako. I got it! Takako gave a curt answer. Oh, that sounded so nostalgic. A few minutes after the bell signaled the end of the school day, countless students filled the previously empty corridors. You have a class representative meeting after this, right? Yes. In that case, we'll be going home ahead of you. See you tomorrow. My classmates left the classroom. What are you doing? Oh, oops. That was me. Sorry. I addressed Takako as she was taking her sweet time to clear her desk, awkwardly lagging behind even after everyone else had left. Got some today, Sachi? Didn't I tell you about that class representative meeting? Oh, got some time today, Sachi. Whoopsie. Oh, okay. With that, Takako picked up her bag and staggered out of the classroom. After giving the clock above the blackboard a quick glance, I pulled out my English textbook and some notes from my bag. I placed them on the desk, and after turning to the page with the material covered in class that day, began translating one of the longer passages. The clock above the blackboard kept ticking away. As I finished my review and turned the page to start preparing for tomorrow's class, the classroom's door opened. Our homeroom teacher, wearing a blue suit and sporting a short haircut, looked in my direction. You're the last one, right, Mizuno? Don't forget to lock the windows when you leave. Okay. Our homeroom teacher closed the door and continued down the corridor, his low heels clicking against the hard surface of the floor. Once he had descended the stairs and could no longer be heard, I began hearing the ticking of the clock again. I closed the windows and locked them. As I picked up my bag and was about to leave, I noticed a blue bucket filled with water in the corner of the classroom. I turned to the small blackboard that was normally used for communication and saw the cleaning duty list written on it. Takako's name was next to today's date. Not again. I sighed in the empty classroom, picked up the bucket, and yeah, it skipped by itself. Oh, picked up the bucket. It continued to the corridor where I unloaded it into the sink. I picked up the dust cloth that was hanging on the bucket and drenched it in tap water. After rubbing its dirty sides against each other, I squeezed the water out of it. Seeing how it was winter, the water itself felt cold as fresh snow, making me wince. I'll have to talk to her about this. I remembered how Takako awkwardly staggered out of the classroom. I returned to the classroom and placed the dust cloth back into the cleaning tool locker. I glanced at the classroom clock again and, after hurriedly stuffing my writing utensils into my bag, continued to school building number 4, where the third-year classrooms were. As I descended the stairs, I ran into Takako at the exit of the second building. She was looking at her shoe locker with her arms crossed. After a few seconds, she reached out and slowly opened it. The next moment, her shoulders slumped. If utter disappointment had its own sound effect, I would have heard it just now. That's right, today was your birthday. Hearing my voice made her turn toward me. Sachi! Her lips curled into a happy smile. I'm sorry, but I've got nothing for you this year. No way! It only took a second for her smile to turn into an expression of despair. Come here. I walked closer, seized her arm, and continued towards the exit. Oh, where are we going? I'll give you something good. We circled around the building and reached the desolated area behind it. I looked around, briefly surveying the place. Okay. I took a step closer to Takako. This made Takako jump a bit, after which she timidly closed her eyes. That's not what I brought you here for. I tapped her forehead with my palm and pointed at the ground below us. Aw, Sachi looks so cute! You can have this. Takako looked down. Huh? What? Look, it's a 4-leaf clover I found earlier. Hey! Takako let out a beastly howl as she fell to her knees to inspect the clover. But you can't pluck it, okay? Another howl reverberated across the yard as I stopped her. Aw, Sachi looks so cute. Is that where the name of your office comes from? It sounds pretty trite, doesn't it? I like it. It rolls off the tongue pretty well, too. Nagasaki, sitting on her chair in the clinic, kept taking notes as I talked. I absent-mindedly regarded her right hand as it kept scribbling something on the paper, even after I had finished my story. Her speed was pretty incredible, yet her handwriting was meticulously clean and followed perfectly straight lines. On top of that, she glanced at the business card she held in her left hand. Her right, meanwhile, kept on going at an unchanged pace. There was a period during middle school when we temporarily drifted apart, but soon enough we started talking on a daily basis again. I think that memory turned into something special for Takako. I see, said Nagasaki as she flipped my business card around to have a look at its other side. Why did you want it anyway? I just wanted to see it. That's some pretty high quality paper you're using here. The drawing of the clover looks really cute too. Our job is designing things like this. It would affect our business if our cards had ugly drawings on them. I see. I guess it's like the sign of a sign maker shop. Mostly pretty old ones though. Nagasaki left my business card on the empty space between the scattered papers and medical records before fixing its position with her index and middle fingers. She then placed her index finger on the card. I could hear the faint sound of rain from the little window behind her. As I entered Nagasaki's office, I saw a desk for medical examinations, 2 chairs, a hospital bed, and a medicine cabinet. There were many medical books and all sorts of bottles on her relatively small shelf, seemingly in complete disarray. Yet, oddly enough, they didn't give off a sense of untidiness at all. Perhaps there was a secret order to them all. Can you remember exactly when all of this happened? During my first year of high school, I think. Nagasaki wrote down Takako's birthday and placed the pen on her desk. She then turned around and let me know that it was time to start the actual examination. Let me hear your symptoms first. Don't be afraid to tell me anything, and try to be as specific as possible. I told her everything I was aware of. First, I told her about the ringing in my ears, although I'd already said most of what there was to say in the cafe. After that, I told her about the hallucinations. I'd never given her any concrete examples before, so this time I went into as much detail as possible when describing how I interacted with Takako at home or at the office. Nagasaki kept taking notes in her medical chart as I spoke. As I kept recalling things on the fly, I occasionally had to stop and think about whether a given event took place before or after Takako had disappeared from the real world. Did that really happen after Takako disappeared? Nagasaki seemed to have noticed as well, and made sure to question me about it. I answered honestly, saying that I wasn't quite certain. But then I told her about how I found out that Inukai had never actually met Takako. Nagasaki nodded, and after a short pause, gave me a serious look. So, you're saying that this junior employee, Inukai, told you he's never met her? Yes, but I can remember seeing them working together. In other words, one of you is wrong. Nagasaki cocked her head to the side while crossing her arms and legs. She almost looked like the statue of the thinker. It didn't look like he was lying to me. Oh, when did he join your company exactly? I got curious about that too and looked it up. I pulled out a copy of his resume from the bag I'd left in the basket and handed it to Narasaki. It says almost 2 years ago. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys, so if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below, and also comment down below if you like it too. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you are becoming part of a legacy. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!